You've done the math. You cut the carbs, you tracked every single calorie, and you spent hours on the treadmill until your legs felt like lead. According to every fitness app on the planet, the weight should be falling off. But when you look in the mirror, that stubborn layer around your midsection hasn't budged an inch. In fact, it might look softer, more inflamed, and, infuriatingly, more permanent than ever before. If this sounds like you, I have something to tell you that might be hard to hear, but it's going to save your metabolism. It's not your fault. There is a biological reason for this that has absolutely nothing to do with your willpower. You aren't failing your diet. You are fighting a war against a hidden survival mechanism that is actively overriding your efforts. While you are trying to burn fat, your body is receiving a chemical signal to hoard it. By the end of this video, you will understand why your liver produces sugar even when you're fasting, why your cardio might be making you fatter, and exactly how to flip the biological switch that forces your body to finally release visceral fat. To understand why belly fat is so stubborn, we have to look at how it differs from the fat on your arms or legs. Research shows that visceral fat, the deep fat stored around your organs, is chemically unique. It is densely packed with cortisol receptors. Think of these receptors like high-gain antennas. While the rest of your body might ignore a low-level stress signal, your belly fat picks it up, amplifies it, and reacts. It is biologically wired to be a magnet for cortisol. This creates what I call the stress-fat feedback loop. You get stressed. Maybe it's a deadline, a lack of sleep, or even the stress of over-dieting. Your cortisol spikes. Your visceral fat, with its millions of antennas, absorbs that signal and expands. But here's the kicker. As that visceral fat grows, it starts acting like an independent organ. It releases its own inflammatory signals that trigger more cortisol. It becomes a self-sustaining factory. The fat tissue itself recruits more stress hormones to ensure its own survival. It feeds on the very thing that is making you miserable. This explains the skinny fat phenomenon. You'll see people who eat very little but still hold a significant pouch. Their body is in a state of crisis management. When cortisol is chronically elevated, your body enters preservation mode. It thinks you are in a long-term famine or fleeing a predator. In that state, the last thing it wants to do is burn off its emergency reserves. It locks the doors and hides the keys. You might be thinking, I eat clean and low carb, so my insulin must be low. This is the second part of the trap. You can eat a diet of pure steak and water, and your blood sugar can still spike. How? Because your liver is an incredible chemical laboratory. When cortisol surges, it sends a high-priority command to the liver. We need energy for the fight. The liver responds by manufacturing glucose out of amino acids and other tissues. This process is called gluconeogenesis, literally creating new sugar. Imagine this. You wake up, you haven't eaten for 12 hours, but you're stressed about your day. Your cortisol climbs. Your liver dumps fresh glucose into your bloodstream to fuel a fight that isn't happening. Your pancreas senses this sugar and releases insulin to manage it. Now, you have high cortisol and high insulin simultaneously, all while fasting. Since insulin is the master switch that turns off fat burning, you are effectively locked out of your own energy stores. You are running on sugar your body manufactured, while your fat stores remain sealed tight. This hormonal chaos is usually driven by three specific lifestyle traps that seem healthy on the surface, but are actually fueling the fire. Trap 1. The endurance paradox. We've been told for decades that to lose weight, we need to move constantly. But when you engage in chronic, medium-intensity cardio, like jogging for an hour every morning, your body perceives it as a long-term migration without food. It raises cortisol to keep you going. The result? Muscle wasting. Cortisol breaks down muscle tissue to convert it into fuel. As you lose muscle, your metabolic rate drops. You become smaller, softer, and metabolically slower. Trap 2. Competitive fasting. Fasting is a powerful tool, but you can't send a cleaning crew into a building that's on fire. If you are sleeping 5 hours a night and working a high-pressure job, then forcing a 20-hour fast, you aren't resetting, you're crashing. Your body perceives the lack of energy as a famine confirmation. Your thyroid downregulates, your hands get cold, and your body clings to visceral fat as its only safety net. Trap 3. The nocturnal alarm. Do you wake up at 2 o'clock or 3 a.m. with a racing mind? This isn't just bad sleep, it's a hypoglycemic event. As you sleep, your blood sugar drops. If your stress is high, it drops too fast. Your brain panics and slams the adrenaline button to wake the liver up. You spend your night like bathing in cortisol. You wake up puffy, holding water, and with your fat storage switches turned to MAX. So, how do we break this prison? We have to stop punishing the body and start sending safety signals. Solution 1. The metabolic flush. Replace the hour-long jog with a 15-minute brisk walk immediately after your meals. Muscle tissue has a unique backdoor for glucose that doesn't require insulin. By walking after eating, you use your muscles as a glucose sink, bypassing the insulin spike and lowering cortisol. Solution 2. The sleep anchor. If you're the 3 a.m. dreamer, try this. A single teaspoon of raw honey and a pinch of high-quality sea salt before bed. The honey tops off your liver glycogen so your brain doesn't panic, and the salt lowers adrenaline. You trade a few calories for 8 hours of deep, growth hormone-rich sleep. Solution 3. Micro-dosing intensity. Instead of long cardio, do sprints once or twice a week. 20 seconds of all-out effort on a bike, followed by total rest. This mimics an ancestral hunt and boosts human growth hormone, HGH, by up to 400%. HGH is the natural antagonist to cortisol. It builds muscle and melts visceral fat. Solution 4. Earn your fast. If you fast, you must feast properly. Protein is the signal of abundance. If you want to weigh 150 pounds, aim for 150 grams of protein. This tells your body, we have resources. It is safe to let go of the fat. Finally, there is a chemical trigger more powerful than any supplement: oxytocin. Oxytocin and cortisol live on a biological teeter-totter. When one goes up, the other must go down. You can trigger this through vitamin G, deliberate gratitude. I don't mean just saying thanks. I mean taking 60 seconds to viscerally feel appreciation for something: the sun, your coffee, your family. This shifts your heart rate variability and manually puts the brakes on the fight or flight system. You aren't fighting a calorie math problem. You are untying a hormonal knot. When you lower the threat, the body lowers its defenses. The visceral fat, having no more cortisol to feed on, finally begins to mobilize. The brain fog lifts, and that stubborn belt line begins to loosen. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things to signal safety to a frightened metabolism. If you've been nodding along to this, realizing that your sleep, or lack thereof, is the missing piece of the puzzle, you are not alone. That 3 a.m. wake-up call is a metabolic disaster, but it's fixable. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss more tips on boosting your metabolism and finally losing stubborn fat. Share this with someone who needs it and start taking control today.